Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I have my channel here, Mana Reiki, and it's good to see everyone. And I hope all of you are having a wonderful, beautiful day today. It's here where I'm at. It's beautiful outside. The sun's shining, and it's in the 70s. I mean, you just can't ask for better weather. Better weather. So I'm just very grateful to join you today and to be able to share some of my wisdom with you and things that I have learned from my own experiences with Reiki. If you hear my dog in the background, my dog is a very loud snorer. He's passed out. So he literally sounds like a chainsaw. He is so loud. So if you hear that in the background, I apologize. That would be my dog snoring. So so funny, but love, love, love. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Reiki for emotional healing, and this is a big one. I mean, it's a big one for me personally, and I know for a lot of people out there who are, have gone through different events in their life, you know, uh, everybody can relate to emotional healings in some way, shape, or form. So I think this is a good one to talk about when it has to do with Reiki healing. So I'm really um, I'm really kind of excited to, you know, to help people. If I can give any kind of advice or any kind of help, I would love to help with that. So, just some clerical starting off here. If you would like to share this video with someone or like or subscribe, please do so. Or if you'd like to donate to my channel, I always welcome donations. They really help immensely for me and my business and getting the word out there to help more people and animals that need that healing in that way. So please check it out in the description below, and just check it out. So I have some other awesome things in there, and check them out and see if you like those things. So moving on. So our goal today in this video is to talk about how, Reiki can be gently used to support healing from either like grief, trauma, or any kind of emotional overwhelm that we may have in our life. And I feel like no one is spared as far as any kind of um, one of these topics. We've all like experienced some kind of environmental experience that maybe really rocked our world, and we were very much, our mental, emotional, our whole being might have been rocked from it. And so being able to have uh, those tips and those things in place that we can help ourselves, that really help us to heal, will allow ourselves to be able to move forward, learning from those experiences and being wiser because of them, and maybe even helping others to heal, and from your past experiences. And those are um, always helpful. And to all of you that are, in have an experience right now that is really that you're really, really working hard to overcome or just get through, your healing, whatever it is. I'm sending lots of prayers to you, that you are on the road to healing, and just know that you are so loved. There's a huge community out there that, and spirit, whoever you believe and have a connection with, just know they are with you. You're not alone. Sometimes it may feel like you are alone. Um, you're not alone. I'm getting a little teary eyed. So I think I'm feeling it a little bit collectively with some people, which makes, it's understandable with a lot of the things going on in the world. So that's probably why I'm getting teared up a little bit. But, um, just know that you're not alone. I'm personally going through um, my own experiences right now. And, so all of us are there with you, and just know that it you whether you feel like you're whatever it is, you are enough. You are more than enough, and you are not too emotional, too much. You are not a burden. You are this amazing gift on this planet, and you deserve the happiness that is coming to you. I you know I think that we all need to hear that more and more, because we do need to hear that, and we are gifts on this planet. That's why we're here, and you have so much gifts within you that are so beautiful. So don't ever question, yourself, and if in the environment, people, if they are making you question that, then they're not the people or situations that we need to be around, because we want to be around those who honor ourselves of who we are as a person, an individual, because we all carry within us superpowers that are beautiful. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I kind of felt that from the collective, just kind of sensed it, that some of us are really going through a lot right now. And I just want to make sure that you know that you're not alone, including myself. Um, so I just want to tell a quick story. Like, anybody who knows me, like, I'm a huge, I love music. Like, that's a lot of how, like, I connect with the world, and how a lot of times I heal is through music. And a lot of times in my realm as a Reiki practitioner, I get a lot of channeling, a lot of downloads, or messages from spirit through music, and which really helps me, because a lot of times when, if I'm going through something, and I start hearing a song over and over and over again, and I'm just like, my gosh, what is going on? Why? I mean, I haven't listened to this song in years, but yet I'm like hearing it all the time. That is, I get that all the time, because music is a big part of my life, and I think spirit universe recognizes that's how I communicate. That's how I associate myself or resonate with with other things in life, is through music. So that's how spirit universe connects with me, to say, hey, listen to this song. This is an important message for you. So, and music is a part of the energy. All the things that we do are energy. So that's Reiki healing. So I will just share with you that one of the things when I grew up, and you know, like my it was just my dad and I when I was really young, and he was also a big music lover, and we would always, like, in the car, because we do a lot of traveling, and he would always play like his favorite artists, and one of the artists that he would play would be Paul Simon from the album Graceland. And and of course, hearing those songs, you start to love it. You love those songs because there's, you just, you're your family hears it, and so you start to love it too. And you know, Paul Simon, he's an incredible musician too, and just an artist, and he has such strong messages. Well, just the past few days, I've been getting, like, for whatever reason, I have not listened to this song in a really long time. Um, it's Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. And, you know, anybody who's listened to that song, like, you know, um, you know, when you first hear it, you're like, really, what? I don't understand, you know, like diamonds on the soles of her shoes. That's really interesting. Um, but I just kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it over and over again. And, you know, like the past few weeks and months, I've been going through some pretty heavy things in my life and just transitioning in different parts of my life, you know, big transformations for me. Positive ones, but really hard ones. Like it's been difficult. And so when you are going through those big transformations, it's really easy to get down on yourself and question whether you did the right things or if you made the right decisions or and that's when, you know, for me, like it, you know, you question, okay, um, did I do the right thing, you know, um, and questioning yourself. And you, it's, you know, when you start doing that, it can turn into a downward spiral pretty quickly if you allow it to. And, um, you know, like kind of, you know, just, you know, questioning your self worth because the things maybe that you're going through. And, you know, and I'm human and I, I want to, you know, I never want to sugarcoat that. You know, I'm human. Um, and I definitely have those moments where I question. And, you know, and this is a time for me now where I am doing that. And that's part of why I made this channel too, um, to help others through it too, that are going through things similar. So I kept getting diamonds on the sole of her shoes. And finally, you know, I listened to the song, and of course, that brought just so many great memories, you know, such a great song. Um, but I was really curious about the meaning, and just knowing that a lot of times I get a lot of my big messages through songs. So I thought there must be a message here for me. You know, there has to be a message here for me. Um, so I looked up the song online and the meaning of it, and it's actually really interesting. I was not expecting, you know, it to mean what it meant, and it just shows, you know, Paul Simon's genius as far as like I'm concerned with, you know, metaphors in general. So basically, the background of this song is in Africa, and I apologize, I don't remember exactly where this took place, but um, there was a part of it in Africa, like in the 1920s, where um, you know, they had all these rocks everywhere, and people would just, you know, they were just so tired of them, and they would just kick them off to the side, you know, and you know, just trying to get rid of them, you know, and just kind of toss them away. Well, a famous man in the, and I will say the name of this person eludes me, but you can look it up if you're curious. But he discovered that these rocks were actually diamonds, and he really like he kind of shaved it down and really like made it into a smooth, beautiful shape, and saw its beauty and just its exquisiteness, like for what it was, and was just blown away. So what he decided to do was to sell, you know, these stones, these precious stones, diamonds, and you know, because of that, he instantly was the one that started the whole age of how diamonds are just exquisite. Because nowadays, when we think of diamonds, we think of precious stones, things that cost a lot of money, you know. So to him, in his mind, these were precious things, and they were beautiful things. So going back to the song, this relates to diamonds on the soles of her shoes, and it talks about, and he uses a woman, and how, one of the lines in there is like, um, she's got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Um, and she essentially, like, what does it go? It's something like, she's walking away those blues, diamonds on the soles of her shoes. And basically, what he's saying is that, you know, things can happen to you in life, but it's your perspective and how you're taking those things um, that really make a difference. So, there's people that always see the silver lining in things that they go through, and, you know, they, they kind of just bop around throughout life, just like, oh, well, that was interesting. And, and that can go both ways, and that, like, having kind of like almost like rose colored glasses on, it can be great because it allows you to experience that kind of that earth shaking moment, but then observe it for what it is, and then just be like, oh, that was interesting, and then just keep going, you know. So, like in the song, um, she's just walking with her blues. So she kind of like presents herself as this person that just observes things and just looks in the beauty, the silver lining in everything that she goes through. And then on the flip side of that, he talks about a poor boy, um, uh, empty as a pocket. That was one of the lines in there. So the flip side of that is this man, you know, um, he obviously does not have diamonds on the soles of his shoes. He's kind of the negative aspect of that, in that he looks at all the bad stuff that's happening to him. So, in the whole summary of this, I was just like, taken aback by all this, because I'm a person that firmly believes in trying to see the silver lining in things that happen to us, and taking the lesson and learning from it, and then doing good with it. And I think what universe was trying to tell me personally is that's my superpower. That I have a way of, looking at a situation that maybe I'm going through that's really hard, and I can say, man, that was really tough. But then take the lesson and use it for good. Um, and I will confidently say, and not to say that the moment before I was crying about it or really, hurting, but afterwards I feel like I have a good understanding of how to sit back and reflect and say, what did I learn from this? And then take the silver lining, take the piece of it that allowed me to be grateful, and move forward and give that to other people to help them. So, you see how a lot of things can work in different ways. Energy is really an interesting thing, and we as people, as humans, as individuals, always have the choice and free will of how we use that. We can use it for good. I always say, and this is my personal opinion, but I feel like some of the most strongest people and the most just incredible people to know are the people that have gone through the hardest things, because they've been through um, so much, but yet they were able to um, learn from it and get back up, and they were able to keep going, and do good with it. Those are to me personally, I think those are the strongest people out there and the most wise, and those are the people we need to listen to. Um, so going back to, that was a long piece, but I wanted to make sure that you guys could hear that so that you knew kind of some background and what some that I'm going through this myself. Um, so normalizing emotional ups and downs. It's energy works as like a roller coaster. Like one moment we can be feeling high as a kite, and then the next moment we can plunge into the deep depths of sorrow for whatever reason, and that's normal. That's there's going to be things that are going to do that, and that's normal. So the way we can help ourselves in those moments is to ground, meaning to find different techniques of helping ourselves um, feel more like within our body rather than up here, which that can be difficult sometimes when you're really going through it. Um, and centering yourself, centering your energy. So, you know, great things to do. I talked in previous videos, grounding techniques. Take off your shoes, go outside, and go barefoot. That's a quick way to be connected to the earth and picture yourself being rooted to the earth. Um, that will really help to be back into your body. Gentle breath work. I always talk about breathing techniques. There's lots of them out there. Getting back into your body, into your mind. Okay. Um, and mindfulness techniques, being more present, um, you know uh, being in the present moment. I always say I want to be like resurrected as my dog, because dogs are and cats too, but dogs especially are a prime example of how all of us need to live. They are like the epitome of right here, right now. Um, they don't think about the past. They think of what's happening right now in their present moment, and that's I think how a lot of us need to live. Um, so another thing to do is like when we focus on our heart-centered healing is placing our hands over our heart, our chest, and inviting that compassion and acceptance in, inviting it in. So, whether that be picturing, visualizing, there again with picturing like white light moving through your chest. And it's like, and you feel it, it's like a warmth and a comfort that just flows through your chest and then reverberates out into your body, will really help with that. Okay. Um, the other thing, and I've seen this a lot in my Reiki sessions with people, is, after the session, like, I'll ask how they're, how my clients are doing, and they'll say, like, I don't know why I was crying during that. I mean, like it just all of a sudden just came up. Um, and that's pretty common, that's pretty normal. Like, like I've been in yoga, yoga classes where, certain poses, well, especially ones where it's exposing the heart, where you're open, because you're exposed, and being exposed and open is really vulnerable. It's a vulnerable position to be in because you're just open to the world. And I've seen like the strongest people just break down and cry because it's just a very like opening feeling, and that's good because it's your body's way of saying I need this. Um, so allowing those tears to flow, and the warmth in your feelings to rise up, don't, like, don't feel bad about that. You know, that's your body's way of saying that, this, you're releasing that, those blocked energies, and you're needing this, picturing yourself as, like surrounded by healing light, like a white light, always like helps me to feel safe and more within my body, um, and feeling, using affirmations, and there's tons of affirmations out there, we see them every day. And for me, I'm a big affirmation person. So it can be anything that makes you feel good, um, whatever helps you, as long as it's a positive thing, positive self-talk. We want to make sure, that you are supporting yourself, because, you know, you would never say, you know, um, like negative things to a good friend of yours. You would praise them. You would make them feel good about themselves. So therefore, you want to make sure that you're your best friend and you're saying those things to yourself too. So maybe like, I am supported, I am healing, and I am enough. If that works for you, I am my authentic self. I love myself unconditionally. Uh, I am so loved. Um, I am brave. I am enough. Okay. So, closing this out, making sure, as we always do, we hold gratitude. We are grateful that we are here, and that we are grateful that we have those emotions within us, because it means that we feel. And feeling is so underrated. Me personally, I feel that. I feel it's so underrated. We need to feel, because if we feel, it means that we can feel and empathize with others too, and that makes us human, and it's okay, like, to show those emotions. It's okay to do that. And then just reminding yourself to reflect and really tell yourself, you did a really great job today. Man, oh man, that was a really challenging situation that you got through, and you did it with grace and gratitude, and you walked away with your head held high, and you did it. Good for you. You are a superhero. So tell yourself those things. So I'm going to end with a card, but um, any of you guys that know, and this will show my age, but the movie Pretty Woman, that's that was one of my favorite movies. When I was younger. Obviously, Julia Roberts, she's so beautiful, and I think she comes, she presents herself so beautifully as an actress. I just really admire her. She's beautiful inside and out. And those people are just so. Those are people to hold on to. But in the movie, there was a scene in where she was with Edward, Richard Grere's character, and they were talking, and they were kind of having a moment of vulnerability, um, and she was talking about her past, and saying how there were so many just bad things that had happened to her, and that there were, so many people put her down. Um, and one of the lines in there, and I still remember it, it sticks with me because it's very true. She said that, isn't it interesting how the bad stuff is always easier to believe? And, that really stuck with me. The bad stuff is easier to believe. And to me, that means, like, you can get 100 compliments, in the day for something that you did. but it's that one comment that, you know, was maybe a little bit more of critical feedback. That's the one that we stick with, and that's the one that we remember. And as hard as we try, you know, that's the one that we hold on to, and I can attest to that. The bad stuff is easier to believe. Not that it's true, not that we want it to be, but you know, those are things that stick in our brain. So, you know, and here was, you know, Edward, Richard Gere's character, who also had a lot of past trauma as well, you know, and he admitted that to her. He was like this huge, big man on campus, professional, big, he owned businesses, corporations, and very powerful. And he was saying to her how, you know, he didn't get along with his dad, and then his dad passed away, you know, but he turned to her and said, "You are the most beautiful and intelligent woman I have ever met." And so, you know, everybody, you know, it's okay to be vulnerable because we're all going through things. And the more we share those things with others, the more connections we can make and help each other heal. So let me pull a card really quick. That was a long story, but I wanted to make sure that some of you guys heard that because that really stuck with me. And, you know, and if that helps you, I hope it does. Okay, well, that was quick. All right, so we got agape. So I'm going to read this one, agape, and then we'll close it out here. Agape. So let me see here. 211. Agape. So devotion, unconditional love. There you go. Unconditional love. Just what we were talking about. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? So, you know, this talks about when you're in your light being, that you are doing acts of service, your reverence, honor, and joy. You're in your own authentic self, what we were just talking about. So the Greek word agape informs the English word agape. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. That is gorgeous. So remembering to feel your feelings because you are human, right? All of us are human. Agape can also be felt as an overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognize it by a deep swell of gratitude. So there again, you know, just what we were talking about, you know, reminding yourself that you are so loved, and, you know, reminding that you're not alone and that you deserve love like anybody else does. So just remember that um, to stay, to honor your feelings if you're having them, and to feel them, because feeling them and flowing through them will get you to the other side of healing, and you will always be better for it. You will always be better for it, and you will be grateful that you went through that process that way. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope that everyone has a beautiful day. All right.